now it's supposed to.
Oh, it was that thing about you have to. Oh, now we're recording.
Yeah.
I mean, I can repeat this. So if you delete this file, well, here, why don't I just do it? All right, now if I try to launch, now this is going to fail, right? Because it complains I don't have a valid proxy. Okay, now I come back here. Now notice this change to release queued launches. Until you do that, you cannot launch again. That's what I had forgotten.
That is what it was not clickable. Okay.
That's why it did not work. So now I do that. Okay, fine. Okay, now I can launch again. Of course, it will fail, but so I'll hit cancel. But yeah, so you have to remember to do that if by chance you hit that invalid proxy error. So let me go back and re-upload so that I don't have that anymore. All right, now I'm good to go. So that was the problem. There was actually nothing wrong with the system, as it turns out. And that also explains why when I switched over to the SAM-based one, that then it worked. And speaking of that, we can go back here and we can go back to my, yes. So here was the earlier launch that we had done. So now I have no idle jobs, right? And I see here is my original or my last submission, and it was successful. Had low efficiency occurs because I was only running a couple of events. I can then, if I wanted to, certainly, yes. So I could come down here to, I see my most recent submission. And if you do this a lot, you'll have a record of all of your submissions. So this can get very long, depending on what you're doing. But I go here, if I just click on the timestamp part, this shows me the output of the submission, which I don't really care about, right? Because, okay, it worked, great. But more interesting, if I click the green info button, now I can see what my status is in. If I wanted to, I could relaunch from here. I could also launch a recovery if I wanted to. We didn't get into that much, but if you want, you can set up rules in the job type that will say, okay, automatically launch a recovery submission for example, the input files that were associated with failed jobs, or input files that did not declare output files to SAM with the proper version, and then POMS will take care of figuring that out for you and making an automated recovery data set. I can show you some examples from production. But the other nice thing is, then I can, if I want to see my logs, I just pop down here, I hit view job logs, and there they are. Now, most of this, the DAG stuff, you don't really care, right? But the standard out and the standard error here. So let's have a look. So I was setting up my local tarball, or out of the tarball, my custom release area where I didn't actually change anything. Okay. I see Singularity was indeed invoked for me. My tar file really lives in CVMFS. So I did things the default way now, so that's good. Sure enough, my analysis job starts up. Now it happens that this was reading from Fermilab, but we don't really care where it reads from at the end of the day, too much anyway. So blah 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 blah. Okay, that is very verbose output, but
that's
whatever.
a good candidate for using the message facility.
Yeah, well, I didn't write this fickle in my defense.
No,
So
but
okay. But yeah, probably not a good example, is it? Okay, so we get down here and it finally finishes. Here's our time tracker information. Here's our memory usage information. And okay, we finished with exit status 0. Now, did I get an output file is the question. Okay, now you can see my terminal, I think. So this wrote to PNFS DUNE scratch user May2021 tutorial. Okay, now I named these according to the cluster and the process number as we had discussed earlier. So this one was 439 391. Here we go. Okay, it's a root file of non-zero size. That's good. Oh, one thing to notice with the output numbers. So if you're looking at the job, you'll first see this number. If you're submitting a DAG, as you might be if you're using a SAM dataset, this is the ID of the DAG. But the individual job in a DAG has a different number, which would be this one. Okay, just to keep that in mind. If I go back, if I had multiple jobs, when you're submitting the DAG, all the numbers out here would be different for each job. If you're not submitting with a DAG, which is submitting with -n whatever, then they are the same, and then the process number is different. Just to note the difference between a DAG and a regular submission. Okay, but let's see if we can open this file. Now, is this a good idea? What I am about to do?
yeah, go for it. The only issue is the X connection. If you want to make a plot, might be a little slow. You're good.
Is there a better way of opening this file?
It's great. That's the best way to open the file.
I assume you're being facetious, Tom?
No, I'm not. That's the way I open it.
Extra D.
Oh, sorry.
So I know who to blame now next time NFS gets fouled up somewhere, don't I?
The writes are worse than the reads, but
Now,
Exactly.
granted, I'm opening one small file. I could probably not, this would probably not cause a problem, but let's just get into good habits, right?
that's right. Sorry.
Okay. There we go. .ls, sure enough. So I could do, is it print? Dumps it, yeah, okay. So there you go.
In order to understand better everything else, I think the other thing.
So it worked.